Hello and welcome to the Raw podcast brought to you by the Sunderland Echo. And today we're going to be looking ahead to Sunderland's championship fixture against Luton at the Stadium of Light. So joining me to preview the match, we are joined by Mike Simmonds from our sister title, Luton Today. Mike, how's things?
Not too bad, Joe. Good with you?
Yeah, all good. It's quite a nice day here in the northeast, and the weather's getting a bit better. So hopefully it stays that way for Saturday.
We've got the rain here today, so.
Okay. So you'll be travelling up to the Stadium of Light tomorrow for the game on Weir side, and it's going pretty well for Luton at the minute, isn't it? They're up to fourth in the table. Just looking at their results recently, they've won 4 of their last 5 and drawn the other 1. So I'm assuming the mood is pretty positive there coming up to the Stadium of Light.
Yeah, it's really positive as well, especially the away form. It's unbeaten in 7 now on the road, which is they've not done this in the second tier before. So yeah, I mean, home form has picked up from the start of the season. Away form has been fantastic, and the way things are going, they can definitely head there with lots of optimism.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last time these two sides met, it was a 1-1 draw at Kenilworth Road back in October. It was the end of October. And quite shortly afterwards, Nathan Jones left for Southampton. Rob Edwards came in, and just looking at his record in the league, it's won 10, drawn 3, lost 3. So pretty impressive since he's come in. I'm assuming he's pretty popular there with the Luton fans. And
yeah, he's very popular. I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, based just on results, 10 wins out of 16. You can't really, well, you can obviously do better than that. But I mean, it's a fantastic record he's got since he's taken over. They're playing really good football. He's got his own song. He's proving really, really popular with the fans, and he's been a fantastic appointment so far.
It was a funny one with him because he was obviously at Watford, wasn't he, at the start of the season? Obviously a rivalry with Luton. He was only there for 11 games, and he's come in. But what are the main changes he's really made since he's come in? Back in, was it November? I think he was appointed.
Yeah, it was November. He made a good point of the Watford one, because obviously he said when he took over, that was one of the first questions. But he said he was no Watford legend. He was only there for I think it was 4 months really. So I mean, he hadn't have a big affiliation with the club. But on the changes he's made, I mean, Luton definitely now play more football under Nathan Jones this season. Although they were still getting results, they had gone slightly more direct than previous, and he's playing more football, especially sort of playing out from the back and the way they attack. He's brought in some players like Cody Dramé has come in, and Marvelous Nakamba, so he's brought his own imprint on the team as well now. It's just the sort of the more football they're playing really, and the style. He's just sort of tinkered with that a little bit. That's the sort of the main changes he's made.
Yeah, you mentioned like he's just tinkered with it. There wasn't really a lot broken with the side before. They were going quite well under Nathan Jones. I think they were about 10th when they changed the manager, now up to 4th. But it looks like he's just made some subtle changes, really. It looks like they're still playing with a back 3 and wing backs. Is that how they'll probably line up on Saturday? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, he's not really changed the formation.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it's unusual to come into a club that's actually doing so well. Usually it's because the manager's got sacked because they're performing poorly. Obviously this was different because Jones was taken by Southampton, and an offer he couldn't really turn down. But stuck with the same formation. Got the 2 strikers playing well. The wing backs are both really playing well. So yeah, I'd expect definitely the same kind of formation at Sunderland.
Yeah, the 2 strikers seem like they play a really big part in the side. And I remember back at the game at Kenilworth Road, it was Carlton Morris and Elijah Adebayo. They looked a real handful. Would you say they're the kind of the key players to this Luton side and the ones to watch out for?
Definitely key players. Morris has been fantastic, up to 16 now. Luton's last 4 wins, he's scored the winner in all of them. And him and Adebayo are a really good front 2. I mean, they can Morris can score any kind of goal. Adebayo's his work rate is picked up even more now that Edwards come in. He's looking really good. As for the ones to watch, I mean, both wing backs, Dramé and Doughty, they're definitely ones to look out for. If Jordan Clark plays, he's a big player, as is Alan Campbell. I mean, there's lots of players to watch out for. Tom Lockyer in defence as well. So it's not really one or 2 players. That the whole team at the moment is playing really, really well.
Yeah, when you mentioned some of the defenders there, just looking at their defensive record as well, only Luton and Sheffield United, the top 2, have got better defensive records as well. So it seems like they've really built on that kind of defensive foundation, although they're not just going to come and sit back, are they? They do press teams high up the pitch, but we're also not conceding many goals.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't say they're not a defensive side. They're just very, very good at defending. I mean, I think they've kept now 16 clean sheets. They've barely conceded any goals recently, especially since Nakamba's come in. Conceding goals from open play, they haven't. I mean, they've a couple of penalties, and there's been an error, and an offside goal was awarded. But they're just really at the moment. I mean, especially with Tom Lockyer there in the heart of the back three. He's the real linchpin for them, and Gabe Osho and Amari Bell have been doing excellently either side of him. But yeah, they're just really good at defending at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think the expectation will be now at Luton? They're now, as we said, up to fourth. They're 7 points behind Sheffield United in second, but they've now got, I think it's a 7-point buffer, just looking at the table now, to seventh place Norwich. So they were in the playoffs last season. Will fans now be expecting to finish in the top six and really have a go at getting promoted?
Definitely, yeah. I think top six now is the sort of minimum this season. I mean, they've done it. They did it last season, got to the playoffs, so it's not a surprise that they're there again. So yeah, the fans would definitely expect top six now as a minimum, which they, as you mentioned, they should get with the buffer they've got to Norwich. But talking to the players, they still think top two can be achieved. It's only 7 points behind Sheffield United, who they beat. I think United don't play as well now because they're in FA Cup action. So Luton can cut the gap this weekend if possible, and the players do believe that they can get second place. It's not that's the ambition at the moment. I mean, obviously the playoff place would still be excellent, but they are still thinking they can get top two.
And how do you think they'll approach the game at Sunderland then? Because you may think coming to the Stadium of Light away from home against Sunderland, we're a team that were kind of in the top six a couple of weeks ago, that maybe they'd be happy with the point, but will they be going all out to get all three? You know, with the Sheffield United not playing, maybe an opportunity to close the gap, like you said, to that top two.
I think they wouldn't be disappointed with the point there, but the fact they're on such good form and the fact they went to Sheffield United and won, they've won 3 in a row. It's a chance to make it 4 in a row. I can't see them changing anything or setting out defensively or anything. I think they'll definitely be looking to get the 3 points. Obviously, I think they will say if you can't win, don't lose. But yeah, I can't see anything different from how they've been playing recently, which is to try and win wherever they're playing.
And you mentioned about the away record. Has it been particularly something that they've done away from home? And how do you think they will kind of set up for the game against Sunderland? Do you think they'll come and press high up the pitch, or will they try and be kind of solid at the back for the opening exchanges? How will they kind of approach the game at the Stadium of Light, do you think?
Yeah, quite possibly. Against Sheffield United, it was very much a case of staying in the game for the first half. Not that they sort of sat back or anything really, but it was quite clear that they wanted to quieten the crowd and make sure they didn't concede any early goals and give them any sort of advantage in the game. So with a big crowd as well, and I suppose something happening in the best of form recently, I imagine that'd be the same kind of approach again to sort of make sure they're solid at the opening bits, and then they'll always create chances. So I mean, a sort of a classic 1-0. If they can get the classic 1-0 away, which they love at the moment, that would be ideal. So I think they'll be looking for similar kind of way to that. They still press, they'll still look for chances, but to stay solid at the start will be probably the main thing.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen much of Sunderland this season since they've come up?
I have to admit I haven't. No, I've obviously seen them once play Luton, and then I haven't seen any of the matches. So,
just a last one then on team news and injuries. How are Luton kind of shaping up in terms of kind of the squad that's going to be able to come to Sunderland on Saturday?
Yeah, Pelly Mpanzu is out. He's obviously got a knee injury it's not as bad as first feared now, so that's good news for him. It's doubts over Jordan Clark. He hasn't played for the last 2 matches. Slight doubt over Amari Bell as well, who went off on Wednesday night. Other than that, though, the rest of the squad is fairly fit. I mean, Dan Potts is another player who will miss out as well, but they are getting players back now because last season injuries around this kind of time really kind of affected their chances of winning the playoffs. So at the moment, things are looking okay, and there's not too many players who are missing this weekend. How
important will Roderick Mpanzu be? Because I saw the injury went off, looked like quite a bad one, and looked like he could maybe be out for a while. So has he been kind of a key player this season?
He has been good. I mean, there was thoughts that was the season over when that happened.
Yeah.
But how he landed looked really awkward. But they've said now weeks rather than months. So with the international break coming up, that's the week as well. So it's hopeful that he will feature in this season. And he's such a popular member of the squad. He's a massive personality down there, and he has been playing really well. So midfield, they've got a lot of strength in depth, and so they can cope at the moment. But to have him back would be a big boost for the rest of the season too.
Mm-hmm. Well, just finally, Mike, I know you said you've not seen much of Sunderland this season, but we usually just finish by just asking, I guess, just for a quick score prediction, how do you think the game is going to go at the Stadium of Light?
I'll go for another 1-0 Luton. They seem to be in that at the moment, so why not stick with that?
There's 3 1-0 wins in a row, so they're definitely in a good run of form. I think, difficult one to call. Obviously, Sunderland's squad's pretty stretched at the moment with injuries still, so probably be a similar side that played against Sheffield United on Wednesday, but they competed really well. They beat Norwich last weekend, so picked up a bit of kind of 2 decent performances after that heavy defeat against Stoke. So I think could be another tight game, and I'll probably go for a 1-1 draw. But Luton obviously a side in very good form. But Mike, thanks a lot for joining us on the latest episode of the Raw podcast. You can find more Sunderland news over on the SCFC section of the Sunderland Echo website. Tony Mowbray spoke to the media on Friday, so you can read his thoughts over on the site. We'll also have live updates from the Stadium of Light as Sunderland take on Luton this weekend, as well as post-match reaction and analysis. So once again, thanks a lot for listening to the Raw podcast.